And I'll tell you what, when E.L.F came on board with me 2 years ago at Indy for the 500, and they were the first beauty brand to be a primary sponsor at the 500, it changed the game in racing.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of In the Slot. I'm Moobie.
I'm Smelly.
And I'm Ray.
And we just talked to the coolest person ever, Katherine Legge, empowering women every race she does on the raceway. We're about to go see her this weekend in Charlotte, Coca-Cola 600. We couldn't be more excited. She told us to wear our comfy shoes there because we're walking a lot.
Yeah, she said, make sure you dress comfy. And we said, oh, don't worry about it because we have...
Hey Dudes. Hey Dude is here to upgrade your travel style with the must-have shoe of the season, the espadrille. It's giving classic espadrille vibes, duh, but also with that signature Hey Dude comfort. So it looks like a vacay shoe, but also feels like your everyday favorite slip-on. I'm wearing my Hey Dudes with no socks right now, and like I'm shameless about it.
Let them free, girl. 100%. And they tell us a little hack. Boys tell us a little hack. You put your sock over the sole in, then you can wear those bad boys anywhere.
Totally.
There you go.
They have the breezy open weave texture, cute stitching details, and super comfy cork footbread that make them every day for literally anything, from lounging at the resort to dancing it all day at a festival. So, if you want to level up your summer shoe game without sacrificing comfort, like us, head over to heydude.com and grab a pair now. We'll be wearing these this weekend. Let's get into Katherine. All right, welcome back to another episode of In the Slot, everybody. I'm Maddie.
I'm Ray.
And I'm Smelly.
And today we're here with Katherine Legge, a woman pioneering females in the race car driving land. Welcome to In the Slot.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course, we're so happy to have you on and learn more about your lore in race car driving. We've done a lot of research. But I think to start, let's rewind to how you first got into all of this.
Yeah. Many moons ago. It was just yesterday. So I started racing go-karts back home in England.
Cool.
Yes. My family went on holiday, vacay, to Spain, and I wasn't big enough to drive those fun karts when I was 9. And so I nagged my dad when I got back, and so we went to the local go-kart track, and he started racing first, really, and then I was like, I don't want to be your little mechanic anymore. I want to race also. So then we did a few races together, and he decided that he was just going to focus on my racing. And so we did that for a decade. Wow. Every weekend, come rain or shine, sometimes snow, actually. Like, my dad had a pickup truck, and we'd have this big, like, plywood sheet on the front of the pickup truck, like, trying to get rid of the snow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wait, that's so when you mean like you and your dad were racing for 10 years, like you were in go-kart races, like you have like a track near you, like genuinely, like I was reading that you were go-karting and I was like, what does that, like, I don't even think there's, like, the only go-karting I know is like the one in the mall by my house.
No.
I'm like, no way she was doing that for 10 years. That was revving her up, like, in the mall.
No. We traveled all around England, and there was like legit go-kart tracks, and they'd build them on like old airfields. So think of a racetrack. I mean, that's pretty much what it was. And it's super competitive. So a lot of the best drivers in the world came out of England at that time. You know, think like Lewis Hamilton, Jenson Button, you know, like most of them went through that uber competitive go-kart era where, I mean, parents... I'm not from a wealthy family. Unfortunately, my dad wishes that he was. Trust me.
Yeah, I'll do.
But we're not. But there was people spending like $100,000 on a season of their kids racing back then. Back then, in the 90s.
Yeah.
I went go-karting in Ireland, and I saw, so maybe it's like a European thing, because I was on a track.
Yeah.
Me and my boyfriend he was like lapping me. I was like, oh my God, it's scary on those things.
They're fast.
And it's not even a real car, but I give you credit because that's really cool. Like, as soon as you got in that seat, did you feel like I was wearing my tibby sort of thing, or did it?
A little bit. I was like a little bit of a tomboy and an adrenaline junkie, and so I wanted to do all the fast, scary things, and it gave me a outlet for my well, emotions as well, you know, like it was the adrenaline, it was the focus, the competition. It probably kept me out of jail. No, I loved it. Yeah. It was like my calling, and I feel incredibly blessed. #blessed.
Always hashtag.
To have found something that I was so passionate about so young, because I think a lot of people go through life without having that thing they can latch onto and really kind of wakes them up in the morning. And I found it, and so I pursued it with all my might.
Wow. So then when did it turn from go-karts to real cars? Not the go-karts.
So really, America, the good old US of A, which I have spent my entire adult life in pretty much. So I've been adopted as one of you. I may sound different, but I'm not. I love it so much.
Really? Okay, good.
I got my first opportunity in 2005 in Long Beach. First full season of racing in Indy Lights, basically. And I haven't looked back since. I won 3 races. We finished 3rd in the championship. Got the opportunity to drive an F1 car after that, to move up to IndyCar, and that kind of set the stage for my career. So
yeah. So is this like all like segues? Like I feel like that's got to be so much passion that you have for a sport that you're willing to move across the entire continent to be a part of it, which is so awesome. And especially, it's not like, I mean, you had some people above you in the racing that like paved way for women, but you had to do a lot of that on your own. And I'm sure throughout your career you've had to face.
There really wasn't anybody in Europe at that time. I mean, so if you look back, all the way back, there's been a few women that have done really cool things, right, in the racing world. But really, what's racing been around for like 100 years or something like that, maybe something like that. You had Michelle Mouton, who was in rallying, who won a world championship. So she's like way up there. She's the only one that's won on a world stage like that.
Yeah.
Then along came Janet Guthrie, who was a badass, who was on my podcast, by the way,
Wow.
Thrust Therapy. Yeah. She didn't have women's toilets in the pits. Women weren't allowed. Yes. Wow. Like she would get called out on her stuff. Like when I spoke to her, I'm like, this lady is strong, like mentally like good. Tough. Yeah. And because of her, and then people like Lynn St. James that came after her, and then Sarah Fisher and Danica also to a certain extent, like that's why there are now a myriad of young girls who want to be race car drivers, because they've seen it and they know that they can be, and they've opened the doors in it. I mean, those doors were a lot harder to open back then than they are today. So even though that wasn't an example for me growing up, my parents always kind of taught me that you can be anything that you want to be. You just have to set your mind to it. And so I think that if you are like a dog with a bone and you have that tenacity, then you absolutely can be. Whether that's an astronaut or whether that's in gardening, like I don't, like,
wherever your passion is, wherever your drive is, whether it's on the race course. Or...
Have you gotten the opportunity to like speak to any young girls who are trying to get into racing and giving them those words of advice? How does it make you feel?
Help and advice, yeah. I have a lot actually, and it's something that I will pursue when I'm not so selfish and laser focused on my own career.
Yeah, as you should.
But yeah, I've helped a bunch. I've put them in the car with me in sports car races. I've tried to mentor and give advice to, and it's something I am incredibly passionate about because I want to leave a legacy. You know, I want to make a difference. I was so fortunate that people have helped me on this journey that I feel like I have to pay it forward. So I'm excited to see what the next generation brings, because the next generation are fearless and they haven't grown up with the same social restrictions that I think follow generation to generation. So I'm excited for them.
Yeah. Right. Also too, I feel like you said before, like you're selfish, but I feel like you being so passionate and driven about your career is actually so selfless, because now like you continue to push that door open for so many women, which is like so exciting. Like I feel like that's like your biggest thing. Like I'm gonna relate this to something random, but you know Timothy Chalamet? Just AJ. But he like was talking about his passion for acting, like how he like wants to be the best of the best, and like I don't know, I thought it was so admirable, and like I see you so similarly, where it's like you're pushing this so forward for yourself, but like in behind you, like everyone's able to keep walking
Yeah.
with you, like a little like band all together. Like it's so
Yeah, it is really cool. It's like it's a byproduct, right?
Yeah.
Because we didn't set out to do it for anybody else apart from ourselves. Let's not pretend that we're like, oh, she's such a good person. No. But it's definitely a great, really kind of heartwarming byproduct. And I'll tell you what, when E.L.F came on board with me 2 years ago at Indy for the 500, and they were the first beauty brand to be a primary sponsor at the 500, it changed the game in racing. And not only for me, but for the next generation, for all the women fans, for women like literally everywhere. Because for 2 decades, I've been trying to do this girl power. And I hate the like term girl power.
Yeah.
But it's like, true. You know what the Spice Girls did back in the day?
Yeah, girl power.
Like, girl power.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying. So I was trying to make a difference and make all the girls band together and do these all-female teams and like tell them, you know, we're stronger together. Let's do it. Let's not try and be the best girl. I hate the competition between the women.
Mm-hmm. Well, women are pinned against each other in this society. Which
so
is
much.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, no women can be better than the other, but like we all can. You know what I mean?
There's room for us all.
Totally.
There's totally room for us all.
Enough room
And
for us
guys, you know, they pick out other guys that they like, and you don't like everybody, granted, but like the ones that you get along with, you help them, and they help you, and that's how life works, right? So when E.L.F came on board, they did this massive activation at the Indy 500, and they had this big wall of the women that came before me and about me, and they were like inspiring quotes, and everybody kind of felt like a part of it, and they got involved, and they did a drone show. And so it was very visible, and it was very like the women there felt seen, and they felt like they were part of it, because there's a growing number of women that are into racing and watching racing and into sports. And like, so then I thought it was like a little cliche to have a pink car. I was like, oh God, there's a girl. But in all reality, it was the best thing that ever happened, because it was very identifiable, and it gave the women somebody to cheer for, and it gave the little girls somebody to look up to. And it was like,
yeah.
I still get emotional like 2 years, like just thinking about it, just because.
Yeah, I'm getting a little emotional thinking about it.
It's so cool.
I'm so like, I want to start driving a car.
Yeah,
Like,
the way you're talking about it, how you just bring everybody together, like women together like that. That's awesome.
But, you know, like a lot of companies, especially in this day and age, they say the right things, and they're like all about inclusion and like empowerment, and they use these buzzwords. And this year it kind of came to the forefront that E.L.F stands behind everything they said, because we didn't get a car for the Indy 500, and so we had to pivot. We were already planning on doing some NASCAR races, which is new to me, right? So I'm going in as a newbie knowing that I'm not going to go in and win straight away. Like, I've got a lot to learn. It's the toughest kind of form of racing in the world because of the strength and depth of the talent and the competition. And so I talked to them. I'm like, hey, can we pivot and do NASCAR, because we didn't? And they're like, absolutely, whatever you need to make a difference, so we can break into this barrier, and we can break into this different area, and we can show other people that it can be done. And they like got behind and I said, I have never felt so empowered. Like, they stood behind everything that they said, and that means the world to me, because also it means that you have to stand behind your word. And so I'm giving it 110%, and we're going to make a go of this. And it's a really neat roller coaster that I think happens, and it's like pushing a snowball down the hill. Totally. Like, it just takes on its own life and its own momentum. And even if it's not racing, I think that it's a good example to everybody. And I think that anybody looking at it can sense the passion and drive and the reasons resonating behind it, you know?
Yeah.
And so whether you want to be a soccer player or a tennis player or whatever you want to do, I think it's a really cool story, and I'm very grateful. It does not escape me how I have the best job in the world, and I wake up every morning and I'm like, this is amazing. Yeah. I get to live this life.
On the topic of E.L.F, you know the beauty brand E.L.F as eyes, lips, face, but did you know E.L.F also stands for empowering legendary females? That's why we're proud as E.L.F to help fuel Katherine Legge, the only female driver in this year's NASCAR Coca-Cola 600, with their fan fave Power Grip Primer.
Grip your E.L.F in power. Legge is the only woman competing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and the NASCAR Cup Series, and this past March became the first woman since Danica Patrick in 2018 to start a NASCAR Cup Series race.
E.L.F. first partnered with Legge in 2023 when she became the fastest woman to ever qualify for the Indy 500 with 1 lap at 231 miles per hour and 4 lap at 231.
You need a power grip if you're going that fast.
Totally.
In 2024, E.L.F. was the first beauty brand to serve as a primary sponsor of a car and driver at the Indy 500, to serve as an official sponsor of the Indy 500 itself, and to have an activation at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway during the Indy 500 weekend.
E.L.F. will be popping up on site this weekend at the NASCAR Coca-Cola 600, as well as we will be popping up on site with their Power Grip Garage, offering glam touch-ups, photo moments, merch, and more. Come say hi. Shop Power Grip Primer and more on elfcosmetics.com. We're so happy to be working with E.L.F. because we use it in our daily routines all the time, and we stand for what they believe in as well, empowering females day in.
I use E.L.F. in my everyday life. I got to keep these eyebrows up. Oh, E.L.F. Power Grip. Oh, I need my makeup to stay because I'm going to be dancing my butt off all night. Oh, E.L.F. Primer Power Grip.
Or I need a little tan, E.L.F. Halo Glow.
That's right.
Little
love you,
sunscreen
E.L.F.
this weekend. Boom. E.L.F.
What does your day-to-day look like as a race car driver?
Well, you know, I get up at like 11 and I go to Starbucks.
Well, it's really new to us because it's physically demanding, but you know, what do you have to train?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So people think, oh, driving a car.
Yeah.
I do that. That's easy.
Yeah.
No. No.
And
Hard
it's
no.
so fast, like going that fast.
Yeah, but you kind of, the fast thing you would get used to, most people would get used to, because you don't start off going, okay, I'm going to go do 240 at Indy. Yeah. You go, okay, I'm going to go and do 100 miles an hour. Everybody's going in the same direction. Then you do 120. Then you do 150. So like you earn your stripes. It's like going through school, right? Like you go up through the grades. So the speed thing, like you can get experience in and learn in. The physicality of it, especially like open wheel cars, are tough to drive, man. I mean, they're heavy.
What's the difference, between open wheel and like the stock?
Good question. So there's 3 main types of racing. You got open wheel, you got stock cars, and you got sports cars. Open wheel are the ones with the wings that you see with the wheels that are literally open, like Formula One and IndyCar.
Okay, yes.
Do they have 3 wheels, those ones?
No, they have 4.
They all have 4.
Like
so tricycle.
3 wheels?
That's a tricycle.
What the hell? Bigger in the back or no?
Yes, they're like pointy arrow looking. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Big wings.
Okay.
So like a Formula One car. Drive to Survive, guys. Come on.
Yes.
You've seen it.
Yes. And are those the fastest kind of cars you can drive?
Yeah, typically yes,
Okay.
because they have the most power and the most downforce. So you know how an airplane has force that lifts them into the air because the way that the wind goes over the wings. The open wheel cars are the same in reverse. So you've got wind going over those wings, which pushes them into the ground, which gives them grip, makes them stick.
I remember in technology class when we had to like make those cars, and you would always try and make yours to look like an F1 because they'd be like have like the aerodynamic.
Exactly. So you got the open wheel. You got stock cars, which is like NASCAR, which is the big burly looking cars that kind of resemble the ones on the road, right? And then you've got sports cars, which are either prototypes or they're the Ferraris and the Porsches and the endurance racing kind of ones. So in a stock car and a sports car, it's really hot in the car because they're not open. The open cockpit are the open wheel cars. So it gets up to like 130 degrees in there.
What?
It's just like driving a sauna. No, you don't have windows. Yeah.
Well, it's like
you have a helmet blower
130
that like a vent
degrees.
comes to, and it's hot water and a Camelback.
How does
And you're
that
in it
work?
for 3 hours.
How does that work?
I mean, you lose like 6 pounds of water weight every time you drive. It's a good diet.
That's crazy.
And you're going on average.
Gets your heart rate up.
How many times are you going around?
So I would say anything from like 2-3 hours in a sports car or a stock car. So it's a lot, and your heart rate, because of the heat and everything else, and you're like uber focused, laser focused. So your heart rate's like 160, 170.
Yeah.
So it's kind of physical that way. It's not heavy, but it's repetitive movements. Whereas the open wheel cars, because of that downforce, they're really heavy. So you have to be super strong. You have to be super strong in your core, your arms, and your legs, because you have to be able to get 1,000 pounds of brake pressure. So, like, you gotta do your squats, girlfriends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get those glutes in check.
Yeah. So you have to have bigger arms.
Do you take
Oh,
weights?
yeah.
Everyone show them all.
Whoa. I gotta hit the gym with you.
Mine are Squish McGee.
Yeah.
No.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, do you take breaks like when you go around for 2 to 3
Well,
hours?
if somebody
or-
crashes, then you get to go around under yellow, and then you like drinking and you're
Yeah.
trying
so
to
you take
recoup.
no
You go,
breaks
okay.
for 2 to 3 hours?
Not if nobody crashes.
What?
You do a pit stop, but that's even more stressful.
Wow.
So that's when the people switch out the like
Tires and
Tires,
fuel.
gasoline.
Tires and fuel. Yeah, tires and fuel. And in sports car racing, you do a pit stop where you change driver too. So endurance-wise, you have to be good at handling heat. You have to be good for a high heart rate for like 3 hours at a time. And then you have to be strong. So my day-to-day, going back to that
Go back to that.
question.
I'm like,
Yeah.
must be running,
Yeah.
a squat.
Pretty much.
Rock climbing,
much.
boxing.
I try and do, I love CrossFit. And so I've like done a number of years, like picking up heavy things and putting them down again, but in a metered way that we get a plan for. And it gets boring, you guys, like doing the same thing day in, day out. But I love CrossFit. So I started maybe like a year and a half, 2 years ago, doing CrossFit, and it's like a little community, and we all like rah cheer each other on, and it's fantastic. And I feel like that's a good challenge. So I do that in the mornings when I'm home. When I'm on the road, it's really challenging. I did Barry's for the first time today.
I love berries.
It was really
The
fun.
music's really loud.
Yeah.
It was loud.
That's
it was
fun.
dark. Nobody could see my pain.
Yeah.
And then in the
Phone
afternoons, in the afternoons or early evenings, I'll do either weights or I'll go on an endurance run. And in Atlanta in the summer, that also ticks the heat button.
And
Yeah,
what's an
totally.
endurance run like for you? Like how long? Like what do you
An
mean
hour
by
to 2 hours.
like just running?
Just running.
Running for time or running for like quickness?
No, literally, I'll take my dog into the woods and I'll just do like heart rate to 150, 160 beats a minute and just plod along.
Wow.
Yeah. And then in the middle of that, so I'll get back from CrossFit.
We're not done, people.
We're not done. Well, we're done physically, kind of.
Physically.
In the middle of that, I have a lot of work to do as well. Like people think, oh, you're a race car driver. You get to like show up at races and do the waving and the signing autographs and then you're done. No, unfortunately. We have sponsor meetings. We have a lot of Zooms. We have phone calls. We have to be planning for the next race. So engineering, we drive the sim. We watch old races. Like there's a lot of business and prep work and everything else that goes into it. So we work incredibly hard. I mean, we do have the best life ever, but I haven't had a day off now and I can't tell you how long. I had a couple of hours yesterday, like late afternoon. I was like, this is so nice. This is amazing.
And you're like, what do I do now?
Which is why I live in the middle of nowhere on a lake, because I feel like that's my sanctuary when I do get a minute. And I can just kind of take off and relax. But food, obviously, very important.
I was
too.
just going to ask you, what does your
How
diet
you
look like?
feel. Yeah, so I try and, I mean, yesterday I had a bad day and I ate all the carbs.
But sometimes
right.
you need
It
those
happens.
carbs.
Sometimes
it happens.
you need it.
It does happen, but
Carbs.
Yeah.
but
always the
normally
carbs.
I'll do like mostly protein, clean eating, and I have a coffee addiction.
Oh, I was going to say, do you like coffee?
I love coffee.
Me too.
Do you drink coffee before?
Before,
races?
after, I would do it during if I could.
What do you have to do
Wow.
if you have to go to the bathroom in the car?
You don't. You sweat so much. That you don't.
Yeah, that makes
true.
sense.
I thought you were gonna be like, well, you just pee your pants.
Yeah.
Well, some drivers do pee in the seat,
I feel
and when
like
you're an
that.
endurance driver and the next driver has to get in, I'm like,
Wow.
that's disgusting.
That's
but
really
it
cute.
evaporates because it's so hot in the car. It evaporates. But like I have white suits too. I don't want that.
Yeah, no.
Crazy.
When you watch film and like do the, let's go back to the races, see how people, is there a difference the way that people drive? I would only assume it's like, obviously, Bobby's going this way and there's different techniques,
Yeah.
Like,
Bobby puts hard on his brakes
I
and
guess.
Larry goes easy on them.
Yeah,
on the
kind of.
turns.
Yeah, for somebody who doesn't know much, but that's pretty much it.
yeah, put the
Cars.
research over there.
Yeah. Like how you look after the tires, the brake points, the brake pressure, where you get on the gas, how much roll you've got in the middle of the corner, where your line is, like how you're doing strategy. Strategy is a big one for the guys on the box, what they're telling you to do, pit stops, like how quick your pit stop was, whether you were good on pit lane. Like there's so many things. And like races will typically follow a pattern depending on the racetrack. Like they say yellows breed yellows, for example. So if somebody crashes and then everybody's like driving around behind the pace car, there'll be another yellow following it because there's a restart and everybody's like, they have to get it done at the restart because the tire pressures are low and that's when you're fastest. And so it's definitely an art form, and there are good teams and bad teams.
Okay.
And there are good crew chiefs and bad crew chiefs, and the good ones are really good at like seeing it, calling it, and having like just a sixth sense for what's going to happen and when, and being on top of the strategy.
That is so cool.
I have a question. Do you ever get or have gotten intrusive thoughts?
All the time.
Flying off the road.
Oh, you mean when I'm actually racing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you just want to like send yourself off.
I mean, sometimes you get really angry with other drivers and you have to be a little bit metered in calming yourself down, because sometimes you want to retaliate and you just want to take them out of the race. But I think that's natural. But my intrusive thoughts are normally when I lose focus, if I'm behind the pace car or something's happened and I'm like, do I want the chicken or what do I want for
that's how I'm
it?
thinking about. I would forget like highway hypnosis, you know? Like I feel like you kind of get in a little
But that's a good thing.
It is?
Yes.
Because then you lose track of time?
Well, I mean, races tend to go like really quickly anyway. Like 3 hours feels like 10 minutes most of the time, unless it's really hot and miserable. But if you think about it, those times where you've driven home and you're like, I don't remember any of that drive home. Yeah. Like your subconscious was doing it for you. And your subconscious mind is way more efficient than your conscious mind. It's way better at doing all the things because it's programming years and years, and it's faster. So if you can race and drive subconsciously, like you're just in a zone where you're like looking down on yourself and it's all happening naturally, that's when you do your best work. Like if you're thinking about things, by the time you've thought about it at 200 miles an hour, it's too late.
Totally.
So you almost want to be, like if you could program yourself to immediately get in that zone and be a good
kind of like a switch to turn it off.
Yeah.
Like, all right, close my eyes.
So how do you redial back in when you're thinking about the chicken or the salad?
Chicken salad.
I don't know. I just catch myself. I'm like, okay, Catherine, focus. You got to focus here. But I don't know really. I think it's different if it's something, you know, like NASCAR is so new to me that I have to be uber focused because I have to consciously think about everything. Whereas like if I was to do a sports car race right now, like I don't even think about the pit stops. Like I just know what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and it just kind of happens naturally. So I think there's a time and a place for being like that. And I think sometimes you can mistake it for complacency, and that's when it's dangerous. That's when you need to like dial back in and be present. But in terms of just being able to do all the things like from muscle memory, it's a good thing.
I know recently there was someone bumped into you on the raceway.
Somebody, always.
Yeah, always, which I can't even imagine
Stay
that
in your
feeling.
lane,
Because
right?
it comes out of nowhere and literally stay in your lane. I feel like there's a lot of car lingo phrases, actually, now that I think about it. Can you talk a little bit about that? I'm
like,
sorry.
First of all, what's it like to even be like hit in a car that fast? That's,
I don't know.
But
I'm
it wasn't
kinda
your
used to it.
fault.
No.
Just put it on the record.
yeah.
Well, so sometimes it's your fault and sometimes it's not your fault, right? So my first NASCAR race this year in Phoenix in the Cup car, I spun, which was my fault, honestly. Like I was trying to avoid staying off another car. I spun and somebody hit me. Not his fault, my fault for spinning. So like you have to own and take responsibility for your errors because everybody makes them. The guys that have been winning championships, they make them. And then other people make them, like you were talking about. I got taken out of literally the last 4 races I've been hit at. And so it's other people's mistakes that have caused those. I don't mind. I do mind. I hate it. But if you own it and you're like, hey, sorry, I effed up. Like I didn't mean to do this. This happened, whatever. I'm okay with it because everybody makes mistakes. And that's what I did with Suarez in Phoenix. I called him and I'm like, I'm really sorry. Totally my bad. I ruined your race. You didn't deserve it. Like, I hate it for you.
Yeah.
I didn't do it on purpose. If other people do that, then it's cool, right? That's respect.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the respect that's given and earned by doing this. So yeah, we were having a great race in Talladega actually. And I got hit again, and then driver owned it on TV, which is good because I get a lot of slack.
Yeah.
Say.
I was going to say, do you feel like you have an extra target when stuff like that goes wrong? Like if it's your fault or not your fault, just because
Yeah, a little
you're
bit.
involved and...
A little bit, but I think I set myself up for that with Phoenix, by making that mistake very much publicly on my first race. everybody was like, is she good? Is she not
Which is
good?
so
Like, I
annoying.
don't know.
It's like,
And then the next race when I got hit, everybody's like straight away jumping on it because they think it's my fault. So I feel like a certain amount of responsibility for that extra attention. It's just going to take me a little bit longer to change people's opinions.
And you have a bunch of races this year, so a lot of time and leeway to prove to yourself and to everyone too. 100%.
Do you have any methods of like, for me, I like write in a journal and I like to manifest and ground myself in like certain ways. Do you have any ways that you like when you're done racing or, you know, finding the inner peace, and whether it's faith or
rituals
that
you do?
Do you have anything?
I wish I was into journaling, but I've never got into it, honestly. Like, if I sit down and make myself do it, then I get super into it, but then I never have the motivation to do it.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard
So
to keep.
it's
I'm not
like,
the best journaler,
but I do think manifesting is important. Like, I will close my eyes and think through scenarios and situations and what I want to happen and believe that it's already happened. And like, I do absolutely go through that process. I also worked extensively at the beginning of my career with a mental coach who I still speak to today. And so I have certain methods of dealing with that. But I honestly, I like to, when I'm home, I like to hang out with my friends and
be a little normal.
be normal because
Yeah.
my life is not in any way, shape, or form normal. So if I can like get glimpses of it, and also going to the gym, like I know I've probably like trained myself. I'm brainwashed, okay, you guys, because I love it. And if I don't do it, then I get all wound up. So
your release.
It's my release.
I wish
too.
that's where my release was. My release right now is like, I'm in the couch rotting era. I'm watching a couple of shows on TV. We'll reroute that in the summer, hopefully.
We played what?
Yeah,
we played lacrosse in college.
We played lacrosse in college.
So we just graduated. So it's pretty
Congratulations.
young. Thank you.
Yes,
But
and that was a sport too where for a while it was male dominated, and like in recent years, this past year actually, they just came out with the first woman pro league, or the second one kind of technically, but like
they've been trying to do professional.
they've been trying to do it,
league.
and like
That's
they
cool.
finally got it done, and we I don't know, like it's just like cool to be able to wait. I mean, yours.
Would
is
you
all
want to
of a
be
sudden
part of
much
that?
high. There was like one point, but then now we kind of got this opportunity to have this platform and
Well, our team,
help share
in
the
all
stories.
honesty, our lacrosse team wasn't that good.
No.
We were like 3-12.
Yeah, we never won on a
However,
Saturday.
Yeah, but we had fun, and having a team. I guess this like a question for me is like, do you ever wish you had? I guess you sort of have a team of racers, but like doing as a solo racer, you know. So do you ever wish you had like?
Well, so sports car
Well, I guess
racing,
you
you
have
have
pit-
like,
Sorry.
yeah,
I forgot.
you do. You have pit crew, but in sports car racing, you also had other drivers. So you had to compromise and learn to work with them and like do driver changes and everything. So you have a team of people behind you. You have pit crew. You have also your commercial team. You know.
Yeah.
So and I have E.L.F, like a big team like back there backing me up. So I feel like way stronger than I am. But that's why I love the CrossFit thing. It's like a community is important, and it gets you out and it gets you motivated. You can't sit and rot on the couch and drink tequila. It's just not gonna
Do
work.
you indulge in a little drink here and
So
there?
I'm also sponsored by Desnudo, which are a tequila company.
Oh.
Yes. And so because of my working out and clean eating and everything else, I also drink tequila, soda, and lime because it's
The best.
like calories, carbs, all those things, and so it's nice and easy.
That.
But not on race weekends, obviously.
Well,
After a big race or like a successful day, is that what you do to do a little celebration?
Yeah.
Or?
Exactly.
so
With the
fun.
team. Yeah.
we're so excited to experience
Yeah.
you racing.
You're
Now that-
coming.
You're
Yes.
coming.
Yeah.
I literally don't even know what to expect. Like I know what to expect, but like how it's gonna be like
I'm gonna be cheering so
So
loud
loud.
every lap.
Yeah.
I know
Oh,
that
yeah,
you're
the
now. I
flag,
know
yeah.
that it's 130 degrees and you're going fast.
Yeah.
I'm like, is she thinking about chicken?
Yeah. What also too, do you have like is there music in the car? Or
No,
like,
no. It's basic.
Just
Some drivers listen to it before they get in to like hype themselves up. I've never done that. Never needed to.
Not a,
But I will say, if you want some advice coming to the track, wear comfortable shoes.
Okay.
You're gonna do a lot of steps.
we got
Got the hey dudes.
Wear comfortable clothes and layers because it's really, really hot during the day and it can can get a bit chillier in the evening. So layers.
Good advice.
Sunscreen. E.L.F. do this really good setting spray sunscreen one if you need that you can take with you. It's like little.
We actually have it
Ah.
here. Yeah, here it is. And they have the power grip. Do you wear the power grip primer when
Yeah,
you're on the
absolutely.
Sure, when you're going 230 miles per
and
hour.
it's sweating and it's
Yeah.
hot,
Power
so
grip
you
on
need
that.
you need all the things. They've changed my life, and the tubular mascara changed my life too.
Mm,
So because otherwise I'd end up with the sweaty, the
Yeah,
the
it's
line that it
above
makes.
You get the fake
I hate
eyes
that.
Below and below, the little
I get
raccoon.
above all the time, all the time.
Um,
So yes, comfy. Think comfy. Maybe baseball cap. If not, we can give you Team Katherine ones.
Ooh.
yeah, I would definitely want to wear one of those. I'm going
that's
all support for you.
Yep. So exciting.
Do you have, besides like a makeup routine, do you have like a pre-race routine that you do every time? Like left shoe, right shoe?
Like, yeah, I think it's more of a habit than a routine at this point. It's just like I'm pre-programmed. It's like, when you get in the shower, you don't think about what you're doing in the shower.
Yeah, totally.
You just get it.
just
You
muscle
get in
memory.
and right, exactly.
Yeah.
You just do
I
it.
feel like everything's like that. Do you feel like you perform better if you're in a better mental state?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And if you're happy.
Okay.
Like if you're happy and you feel well supported and you've got a great team behind you and all the things, then you drive better. If you're stressed or think, there's something going on or whatever, then it's not good. So it's 100% that you do a better
How do you
job.
make sure that you are on the right
in that mindset.
mental state?
I mean, it's not always that easy.
Yeah.
Because things can come at you out of left field, like right before you get in the race car. But most of the time, like you go through again the same mental checklist of doing things as you're getting dressed and you're in the hall or in the lounge going through your things, and you're like just trying to put yourself in the same mindset. And the team's so important.
Totally.
Yeah.
So important.
Was there ever a time where you like had something happen right before and you were like, holy shit, I don't think I can do that right now?
Yeah, like right at the beginning of my career, actually, I was in Denver racing IndyCar, and it was my first full season of racing. And there was like multiple team owners, and one of the team owners picked me, and the other one picked the other driver that was on the team, and there was like a battle of wills, and the other team owner came to me and like gave me a barrage of rubbish, let's say.
Rubbish.
And
Love that.
before I got in the car, and I was not well equipped to deal with it back then, and so I was emotionally a mess, and I had to drive, and instead of just being like water off a duck's back, which would be the case now, it got to me, and I went to the other team and I was like, "He's not this and that happened."
Yeah.
So no,
Now
really sent you
I'd be like,
into-
"Whatever, dude,
Yeah.
Right. Get out of my face.
get out of my face."
When you're driving like a regular car, like in Georgia, out by the lake, are you ever like have the intrusive
urge
thoughts,
to
like,
hit 300?
and like all of a sudden race around, or
I mean, I will say that nobody likes driving with me, and I have no idea why. But yeah, I get really wound up by left-hand drivers. So, like lane etiquette is so important. Like I grew up in Europe, so we use the lane as a slow lane, right? And then we got like one overtaking lane, and then you got like we call it the fast lane. It's the overtaking lane. If you're not passing anybody, you shouldn't be in that lane.
yeah.
So I
feel like
that's
I do
you.
that.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like I'm like 80 in the fast lane forever. I don't know. I guess I
Yeah.
gotta learn my lane etiquette.
You got to move over and like
Yeah.
let the crazies go by you.
So no one like you would rather everyone just be in the two over here, and then if you want to go by someone, go to the left.
It's a speed related thing, and not everybody wants to be on the inside lane as well, because you got people merging coming in, right?
Yeah.
So like, okay, if you want to be in the middle lane and you're overwhelmed, I get it, fine, stay in the middle lane, but only be in the left lane if you're passing. Like
I
it should
agree.
be a speed thing.
Get back in there.
I'll take any tips I can on the road because that's not my forte at all.
Tell her.
I feel like
At
I'm
all.
just back and forth. I'll kind of like just
Yeah.
weave in and out.
If I have to undertake you, I give you a look.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smile and wave.
I don't think I don't even know that that's legal, so I never do that.
Yeah, right. Not me.
No, I was gonna say, do you get like road rage when you're like on like driving regularly, or in? I feel like if I was going 230 miles per hour, I don't even think I would have time for a rage. Like all of a sudden, and then like my lips would fly back. Or...
I don't know whether it's the road rage per se. I think it's more like stupidity rage.
Right.
Like if somebody does something
Yeah.
where they're completely oblivious because they think they own the road, that aggravates me. If somebody makes a mistake or they don't know, then like it's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's not my forte to do something else. Like if I don't know. If I'm going around a grocery store and I'm like parked in the middle of the road, I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry. Like I'll move out of the way. But yeah, it's the kind of the thinking they're going to police the road for you.
Like
and
entitled.
That drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I even feel like sometimes when I'm driving on the highway and like I'll see like someone behind me coming up, and my road rage I feel like depends on my mood. Like some days I'm in a great mood and I'm like letting everyone pass. I'm like, you get in here.
Yeah.
It's your turn. Like
Yeah.
have a day. And then other days I'm like, you're not going anywhere. And like if someone's behind me, and it was happening a lot of times when I drive to school, I feel like someone would be coming up and like all of a sudden I felt like I was in a race. And now I'm like, okay, well like I'm gonna stay like right here in front of you, like if like they're riding and I'm like in the middle lane going already 10 above the speed limit, and I'm like, why are you pushing me to go even further? Like go in the left lane and pass me. And then I feel like it's a competition. All of a sudden
It's a whole thing.
racing on the road.
Common, I think.
What do you think is the top speed you've hit on the raceway?
Probably Indy, and it's probably, I mean, we average 230, right? So it's got to be like in the 240s going down the straightaway.
Wow.
And like, what does that feel like? Do you feel like you're going 240 miles per hour? As it feels like
just it's kind of zen and peaceful, and you're just in the moment. If the first few times you turn into turn one flat at that speed to do a corner is, yes, you definitely like, oh god, tensing up. But after a while, it becomes kind of second nature. And I remember my mum came to Indy, was it like a couple of years ago? And she doesn't come to any of the races. She says it's noisy, it's smelly, it's dirty, it's dangerous. Like, why?
she likes watching on TV. Yeah, she likes in her chair, maybe drinking her little tequila soda.
And she was on pit lane, and she had her big sunglasses on, but she was crying. And I'm like, oh, what's Daddy done now?
Yeah.
Like, what's he done? And she's like, no, Catherine. And her like bony fingers grip my arm. And she's like, it's so fast. And then I sat there for a minute and I watched the cars go around, and you can't make out that it's a car going past you going so fast. I'm like, oh yeah, it does look kind of fast when you're doing that. But when you're in the car, it doesn't feel fast at all.
That's crazy. Like, how does that even work? That doesn't, I guess because you're moving so fast with.
When you're in an airplane, it doesn't feel like
That's what I was just thinking, because it's going like 500 miles per hour, right?
Yeah.
But have you ever been in an airplane and another airplane passes
and it's like
it's going so
immediate.
fast? You're like, that's how fast we're going.
So crazy.
Or even on the subway, I guess, or on the train too.
Yeah, and you feel the wind and everything. Yeah. When you're around other cars, then it definitely feels faster.
It's very interesting.
So what do you
concept.
have planned until the big race that we're going to come to? Like, are you leaving soon?
I am. I'm flying back to Atlanta.
Okay.
And then I will drive tomorrow morning. I will drive to Charlotte, to North Carolina, and I will do all the things that are required of me pre this race. So I will collect my new helmet. I will do a seat fit for the cup car. I do a photo shoot at this really cool place called 10 Tenths opposite Charlotte. I do sim work. I sit with the team.
Cool.
And I do a bunch of stuff for E.L.F. on Friday, because we're setting up the amazing activation space that you guys
we're
are
gonna see.
So
excited.
Yeah.
They got to it. If it's gonna be hot, I know I'm gonna need some touch-ups.
Yeah, they've got people there doing all that thing.
So exciting.
I have another question about inside the car when you're racing.
Okay.
And I feel like this like could be dumb, I don't know. But I'm just curious. So when you're driving, is it more like, are you shifting gears, or does that depend if it's like open wheel or stock, or is it more of like feet just like in like wheel gauges?
That's not a silly question. So on an oval in like the Xfinity car, you don't tend to shift gears much. You have to be really good at going up through the gears on a restart. For braking for pit lane and getting out the pit lane, you do. But for the most part, you stay in 1 or 2 gears. So that is an H pattern box, like the old days. In a cup car, it's sequential, which means it's still on a shifter, but it goes up and down like a motorbike. And in like in an Indy car, you've got the flappy paddles on the back of the steering wheel, which make it super easy.
Right.
Wow. I didn't even
And
know.
you've even got a
I thought it was
clutch.
just stop go.
And how
You got a clutch on the steering wheel in a Indy car too. So you have
Which
to get
is
used to
usually
it.
by the feet.
which is usually what I think.
Oh, but it's on the steering.
Right, because you guys all drive automatic, so
Automatic.
Yeah.
I've
Experience
tried
mine's
to learn
drive
stick. But
forward, yeah.
yeah.
So, if you are in Charlotte, come and watch our favorite Katherine compete and win. 'Cause we'll
Our
be
favorite
there.
Katherine in the United States, in Europe,
Ever.
and all of them.
This was such an amazing interview. I had so much fun learning about this.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for coming on.
Can't wait till you see it in real life.
Yeah.
I
IRL.
know.
Yeah,
We'll
and
see it.
empowering
So much fun.
woman, empowering you are an empowering legendary female, and you're empowering legendary female for
I love
E.L.F.
that.
I guess
Thank
let's
you.
go.
One last thing, we're all in our 20s and we all are just trying to figure out life, and we're not
find
perfect.
that drive and that.
We own our slots, which is our stories and the way we are. And do you have any advice for people listening in their 20s of, just what would you recommend your 20-year-old self?
Be authentic. Stop trying to be something that everybody else wants you to be, and be you. And know that it will all work out in the end. Just never give up. Just keep on keeping on.
Needed to hear that today.
Yeah,
Totally.
me too.
For sure.
I feel empowered. And thank you guys for listening. Go watch Katherine compete.
See you, slots.
See ya.